What's going on, everybody, and welcome. Oh shit! I didn't What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Vinny's Corner. I literally didn't even realize that the stream had gone live. So, so it's good to see that people have already pulled up. So while we are doing that, I'll be waiting on my host or my co-host Cove. He's not here yet, but I did want to give you guys some updates. Of course, first on the NBA draft. So if you didn't know, and I'm sure you probably do, but Cooper Flagg was drafted number 1 tonight on the draft. And then Dylan Harper from Rutgers was picked number 2. This is actually an interesting draft because this is the first time ever that Rutgers has 2 top 5 picks. They've never even had 1 to date. San Antonio picked him up. Number 3, the 76ers took VJ Edgecombe. And number 4, we had the Charlotte Hornets with Con Knippel from Duke. So 2 Duke players in the top 5 as well. Number 5, Utah Jazz took forward Ace Bailey. Great pick by them. And then number 6, the Washington Wizards took Trey Johnson, the guard from Texas. And number 7, we got the New Orleans Pelicans picking up Jeremiah Fears from Oklahoma. Number 8, the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets had a lot of picks in this first round, so we'll see what else they do. But they picked Igor Demin from BYU. And number 9, the Toronto Raptors took Colin Murray-Boyles from South Carolina. So that's where we're at right now in the draft. I believe that the Phoenix Suns actually just picked Kaman Malik, also from Duke. So Duke's got 3 guys in the top 10, which is pretty awesome. So that's what's going on there in the draft for the moment. This episode is going to be mostly focused on baseball once my co-host does pull up. But the other thing that is going on this weekend is obviously, like every weekend, a fight weekend. So big fight. A lot of people probably don't care about. But Jake Paul is back, and he's fighting Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who is a real professional, a former titleist. So this could be an interesting one. I expect to see Jake Paul win. Hopefully it'll be a real fight. But really what's interesting, if you have time to tune into that card, it's going to be on DAZN. Floyd Schofield, they call him Kid Austin, against Tevin Farmer. That's probably the best fight on the card. So that should be a really good one. That's going to be an exciting fight. Floyd Schofield's a young dude. I expect to see him win, but Tevin Farmer is tough as nails. So it is the kind of fight that I would think will go to a decision. We'll see what happens. And there's also Zurdo Ramirez. He's putting his belt up, or his belts up, I should say. So that's going to be a good one as well. Let me see. The guy he's fighting is Uniel Dorticos. We'll see how it goes. I fully expect to see Zurdo win that fight. And I think the game plan, I think Jake Paul is really trying to set himself up to get a fight with Zurdo so he can try and get real belts, and be a real champion in the boxing world. So very interesting stuff that's going on there in boxing. And then, of course, if you are a combat sports fan, UFC is going on this weekend. And arguably the biggest stud in the sport right now, Ilia Topuria. Guy's got amazing boxing skills. He's got amazing ground game. He's just awesome. He was champ. He moved up in weight. He's going to be fighting Charles Oliveira next. And, you never can go wrong with the Charles Oliveira fight, to be perfectly honest. And then I believe on that card, Kai Kara France is going to be fighting Alex Pantoja. That's going to be another good one. And then one of the other younger studs, American dude, Josh. He's not American. He's from Myanmar. I always think this guy's American because he looks like somebody from the Southwest. But his name is Josh Van. He's fighting Brandon Royval. And so that should be another good fight as well. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Renato, let me pull it up. But Renato Moicano is fighting also against Beneil Dariush. So there's some really good fights going on the UFC side of things. Topuria Oliveira is set to be a banger. No question about that. And I fully expect to see Topuria win. He dominates everybody he fights. I don't expect to see anything different happen this time around. But I guess, you never know. So the goal for this week was kind of discuss what's going on in the MLB. Share our thoughts on, of course, the NHL finals, which I see a dynasty forming there, and, of course, the NBA finals. So, on the NHL side of things, if you watched complete dominance by the Panthers, they're just a bigger, tougher team. And if they're able to keep that core together, they've got so many good guys on that team. Of course, they've got Sergei Bobrovsky in goal. So it could be a real awesome one. We'll see what happens in coming years, but this is looking like a dynastic run, right? So back-to-back wins. They lost 3 years ago to the Vegas Golden Knights. So definitely an on-point team. We'll see what happens from there. And then, of course, you had the NBA Finals. It's too bad the NBA is over. But as a Knicks fan, I saw something that I would never want to see, even if it is probably to my least favorite player in sports, Tyrese Halliburton, excuse me. But he did tear his ACL. I'm about to say he tear his ACL. He ruptured his Achilles. It was a pretty nasty injury. Everyone kind of saw it coming. I mean, he tried to tough it out. It didn't work out. Ultimately, OKC was able to make things happen. Guys, welcome my co-host. There he is. Kale, what's going on, bro?
Not much.
Formerly known as Cove. How you doing, brother?
Pretty good.
So I started the podcast and I had no idea it was going live. I didn't even realize I'd hit the button. And I was like sitting here moving around, like doing stuff. And I was just like being filmed and realized there were like 25, 28 people watching. Oh. I gave my little fight update and I shared my thoughts on the NHL finals. Now, you're a big hockey guy and you're from Canada. So I'd like to just get your thoughts on that before we swing into baseball.
Well, I mean, what do you want to know?
Well, I mean, you watched the finals, right?
Yeah.
We haven't been here in a few weeks. What did you think about them? Here was my take. The Panthers are just too big, too physical. They were completely dominant. And this is potentially the start of a dynasty.
Yeah.
If they can keep that team together.
Well, I mean, you heard me all playoffs. I said the Panthers are way too fast. Way too fast. Like, I've watched, I don't know how many games of the Panthers this playoffs where it's like, they're down 2-1. I'm going to go outside for a smoke. Come back, it's fucking like 3-1, 3-2, 4-2. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? It was just like, wow. Like, you couldn't get an edge on in Florida, no matter what you did. Like, yeah, they lost some games, but when they were dominant, like, look what they did to Toronto, back to back in Toronto, 6-1 win, 6-1 win. They did it to Florida. They did it to everybody. Like, just when they were dominant, they were just straight up dominant. And Bobrovsky is just a hell of a goalie. Like, when he's on his game, he's on his game.
It's hard to argue, right? To me, it's as simple as them keeping that team together, right? And if they can, then I feel like I don't see anything stopping them from three-peating with how good they've played this last few seasons, right? I mean, obviously it's hockey; anything can happen. But to me, you know what I felt like the story of that NHL Finals was the underperformance on the defensive side and the goaltending and defensive from the Edmonton Oilers. I mean, they just looked terrible.
Oh yeah. Well, that's why I've watched Edmonton all playoffs. They were like Stuart Skinner when he's on his game, he's fucking amazing, and then Stuart Skinner when he's horrible, he's worse than a dirty sieve. Like he has got more holes than Swiss cheese. It's just like,
I don't know if this is true. It hasn't been like confirmed yet, but after the finals, during like the celebrations, they have a video and they were talking to Marchand, and they're like, so is that it for you, this and that? And he was like, and you see him like he lips it, because it's like it's in like a party, and he goes, that's it. He goes, 2 more years, and I was like, what? It would be awesome to see him come back and play with this Florida Panthers team for another couple seasons.
yeah.
He had an amazing playoff for them, so it would just be something that'd be really cool for sure. So now NBA Finals, right? I mean, you were kind of like low key rooting for the Pacers the whole way because you're an anti-Knicks guy. This guy's a Knicks. He's a hater, straight hater. It happens to the best of us. But really, most importantly, like the story of that ended up being, right, Tyrese Halliburton blowing out his Achilles in Game 7 of the Finals after coming out and knocking down 3 threes in a row, like looking amazing. That was brutal, right? It was brutal to watch. Now, you've played sports your whole life. Obviously, like since we were younger, these Achilles things have become much more manageable now, and like people come back from them and they have great careers, right?
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily think that it's going to be like a case where he doesn't, come back and have a good career. But
No.
this
No,
could
but
have been
he
one shot.
he said in Game 6 that he did something or something happened, and he didn't want to. He wanted to play, but he knew something was going to happen.
Well, they had the MRIs, they did all the tests, like they all knew what the risk was, and we'd already seen multiple players go down in this finals to that exact same injury. So it was, of course, like if the guy says like I'm going to play, like he's the team's engine, they're definitely not going to stop him. But it's unfortunate because he did the choke thing. Reggie Miller, once upon a time, did the choke thing, and Reggie Miller never became a champion, right?
I know, but
fact,
Reggie Miller didn't have a fucking torn Achilles heel. Like that's a little
No.
different. I find that a little different, though.
I'm not saying it's the same thing in that it's the same position years later, same team. The similarities are all there.
The irony of it makes sense, yeah. But the way Halliburton went down in 7 to what happened to Miller is just a little different. It's like,
And like with
I think
parity,
it would have been a little closer if Halliburton stayed in the game.
if Halliburton stayed in the game, it's very well that they could have won. But like with the parity in the league in recent years, this is the 7th straight year in a row with a different champion. Yeah. He may have just missed his window to ever become an NBA champion, which is it's just crazy to think about.
He may have, but think of last year, Pacers could have, but they got rolled over by the Celtics, and then they made an example this year of the Celtics. So like it could change. But I mean, like just like I was riding the Pacers, you said you thought the East was going to win regardless, and both of us were wrong.
It happens. Listen, you know what they always say, defense wins championships, right? And it showed through big time in that series and in that Game 7. So, it is what it is. It happens to the best. It's sports, and this is a part of it. But, the NHL is over. The NBA is over. Now we are fully into the MLB season. We're actually at the midway of the season, 81, 82 games, depending on which team you're looking at, right? There could be history going on in Colorado. Colorado now has 18 wins through 81 games. Whoa. So they're on pace for a 36-win season. Pretty bad. Pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's crazy that we have an 18-win team And that is crazy. Champy, how the fuck did the Thunder win a championship before? Listen, Champy, I'm a Knicks fan, bro. I've been waiting my whole life to see a championship. I feel your pain, bro. But so it's that time of season, right? We're about to hit the All-Star break. We're just a couple weeks out from it. Voting's already started. We've got a 50-win team in the Detroit Tigers. We've got an 18-win team in the Rockies. And then we've got everything in between. My Yanks have been struggling as of late, right? Interesting stat, Goldschmidt is batting 175 over the last 16 games. Like, the guy was batting 350 the whole season, and he just fell off a cliff, right? So it's that time of year. A lot of this stuff happens. What's really going to matter, as you know, with baseball is how teams come out of the All-Star break. Yeah. So I'm not that concerned. We're still in first as of now, barely, my Yankees. But what I wanted to open it up to, and what is your top 10 MLB power ranking right now?
Yeah. Before I get into it, because you were talking about that, didn't you just love my bullshit this morning?
Dude, what, the trade?
Yeah.
Bro. Okay, all I'm going to tell you guys, this is all that matters, is that he sent me a trade that had Trout going to the Yankees. What? Nobody listen, man, Trout is awesome when he's healthy, but no, you made your bed, now you got to lie in it, Angels till you're done. That's it. Nothing else.
No, but I just found it funny because you're like, who the fuck sent me this shit? Who the hell made this? Not thinking that it was me fucking with you on that shit.
And not for nothing, but Clark Schmidt has been awesome for us this season. I like the guy. I was like, what? I don't even remember who else was in that trade, but you had 3 Yankees going for Trout. I was like, whoa. What is going on?
It was Clark Schmidt and Jason Dominguez.
You know what? Dominguez has been good since he started with us too. I like Dominguez. He's a typical Yankee. And I don't know, I could be wrong, but he sounds like a Dominican guy like me. So, I'm all for him.
But anyways, my top 10, as I'm not home, I sent you my top 10. So I know I have Detroit in my top 10. This is number 1.
You want me to read it off for you?
Yeah.
All right. So I wish I had the ESPN voices. Number 10, the Milwaukee Brewers. So, you know what? In interest of time with reading off the lists, I'm going to jump on with you here. I agree with that. I think the Brewers are a good number 10 right now. What's this new kid they got pitching? Marakowski, how do you pronounce his name? He's awesome. He's awesome. He battled Skeens today. That was great. That's great day baseball right there. But the Brewers at number 10, the San Francisco Giants at number 9. Now, the San Francisco Giants, for me, I couldn't decide exactly where to put them. Now, I feel like they're better than a number 9, but it's just tough because they're in there with the Padres and the Dodgers, right? So, they just got a meat grinder over there that they got to deal with. So it's a little tough to say, but number 9 is a good place for them. This one I liked. Number 8, the New York Mets. I see that as a fair place for them. They're a 46-win team. There are teams with worse records, technically, that I think are better teams than them right now in baseball. I have no issue with that. Now, I don't know what happened in baseball fully today, so I'm about to take a quick look, but I know the Mets were tied for first with the Phillies. I do know that much. So, the Mets are now in second place. The Phillies are up to 47 wins. So, it happens, right? Could be worse, could be better. But I think the Mets, they've had good pitching. The hitting's definitely come around for them. Alonso's been an absolute stalwart for that team. Guy's just been awesome. He's the heart and soul of the New York Mets. There's Lindor, there's Soto, but then there's Pete Alonso, right? And for a number 8, I think that's a good position. Number 7, I like this one. Now, my number 7 and my number 6 are switched.
Mhm.
just because I have a little more confidence in what I know about your number 7. So at number 7, Kale has the Houston Astros. Now, the Houston Astros, they started out the season kind of weak. In recent weeks, they've come on very strong. They are a first place team, and I think they're like 4.5, 5 games ahead of the Seattle Mariners right now, which, the Mariners are playing good baseball still, but the Astros they're a tough team to deal with. There's really there's no other way to say it. So many guys on that team are doing well. Pena's been hitting like a demon. Paredes is doing good. I think Hummel had a 2-run homer to take home their last game for them too. So they've been really good. And then of course, they got guys like Altuve out there. Why did you put them at number 7? Was it just like I know they're a top 10 team and you couldn't really figure out a place, or what was your thought?
It's the Astros. It's just like you just said there. They started off struggle, but they can be in last place when they start the season and then somehow be a friggin' playoff team. It's just they always will be a top 10 because they always make the playoffs. They just don't have horrible seasons. They figure it out by mid-season.
Oh, I absolutely to me, it's not even a question that they're going to be in the playoffs. I think that they're going to run away on the Mariners. As good as Cal Raleigh's been, it's just not enough. No. Now, your number 6 is my number 7. My number 6 is the Astros, the Chicago Cubs. So we've got these teams right there in the middle of the pack, led by Nico Horner, Seiya Suzuki, right? They've been playing some pretty good ball too. And you know what? They got Pete Crow Armstrong, who a lot of people are putting in contention, which we'll get to later for the what is that? Is that a dog? A cat. I was like, what is going on? But Crow Armstrong is in the running for the MVP of their league. So, I think Shohei's going to take that, but hey, you never know, right?
Yeah.
Is there something specific about these guys that you found impressive lately? What do you think they've been doing good? What do you think they're struggling with?
The Cubs, it's not so much struggle. It's just, they've proved themselves early on and they've been keeping pace. So that's why I have them in the middle of the pack, because the Cubs are keeping pace. Yeah, Pete Armstrong is a huge reason why, because he's playing phenomenal. But it's just the Cubs are figuring it out. They're staying at pace, and they're going to stay that way for a while. I figured that they would dip off a little more than they have right now, but they're still up there.
Okay. Totally fair. So for me, I think they're good. The reason why they're number 7 to me and not number 6 is, and I'll be honest, I don't trust their pitching. Tylon's good, Boyd's good, Brown's good, but that's it. They're good. They don't have a guy who, when he steps on the mound, you're like, okay, all their pitchers have 3-4 losses. Yeah. There's nobody who's like a 1-loss pitcher on their team. You know what I'm saying? 2 losses or less. So for me, that's kind of the place that I am with them. And I don't trust this team enough yet, but I do think they're great. Now, the top 5, I think we're pretty similar. Yeah, I'd say so. So number 5, the Tampa Bay Rays. The Tampa Bay Rays have been coming on strong, right? They've been playing a hell of baseball in recent weeks. And it's been, for me as a Yankee fan, it's been frustrating. I guess that's the easiest way to say it, right? I'm sure you've been watching the games just like I have. Tampa Bay has been getting much better, and the Yankees have seen a big slump. So in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games, in the last 11 games, the Tampa Bay Rays have 8 wins. So, that to me, I almost put them at number 4 and put the Yankees at number 5. Excuse me. But as a Yankee fan, I just couldn't do that. We
Yeah.
still got first place. And we've got
The only
Rodon with 9 wins, and we've got Max Fried with 9 wins. Both just pouring it on this season for us. So it's
no,
been
the
pretty
only
awesome.
thing I find interesting about Tampa is I don't know if you heard the recent news is they're up for sale.
Are they?
Yeah, and the rumor is somebody out of Jacksonville wants to buy them.
The same like Jacksonville, like the sports organization, like Jacksonville Jaguars organization, like the
No,
Collins.
they didn't. Whatever his name is Carr or something. I don't know what his name is. The guy who owns them. No, they didn't specify. They didn't specify him, but they said someone in Jacksonville's looking to buy them. And then
That's
there's
it.
rumors like, would they move them to Jacksonville?
I mean, that's an interesting move. I think and I could be wrong. Maybe my guy Hot Take is listening somewhere out there, and he'll chime in because I know he knows a little bit more about that area than I do. But I think
But
that
like I said,
Tampa
it's a
is
rumor
like,
though. They might keep him in Tampa, just the owner being in Jacksonville. Just
well, Tampa
like,
Bay is a bigger. I think it's a bigger metro area, right?
well,
Like I think it's a
it's
bigger
no
city.
different. It's no different than the Phoenix Suns buying the Chicago White Sox. Like, it doesn't mean they're going to move them over to Arizona because they buy them. They just
Yeah,
might own them.
I wouldn't think that it would be a good decision to move them. Tampa Bay seems to have a lot of fans too. I mean, not necessarily, but I
It
don't
just
know. There
might
would
be.
be
It just might be. This is the team. These are the guys who have the money to buy the team.
yeah, so Tampa, their starting lineup, like their leadoff, their top 4, they've been awesome lately. Yandy Diaz, what's his name? Junior Caminero, Brandon Lowe, and Jonathan Aranda. Aranda's hitting like 332. I mean, in general, Aranda's doing great. I know that Yandy's almost at 100, almost at 100 hits on the season. But they've been where their bats have been picking up, the Yankees bats have been kind of falling off. And this is like the typical problem we see in Yankees baseball these days is like, if they're not hitting home runs, they're not hitting home, they're not hitting anything. And so that's our number 4 team, the New York Yankees, right? What do you think's going on with the Yanks? Is it just as simple as what I said? When they're not hitting home runs, they're not getting hits, or like
Something like that, but it's also Yankees are just Yankees. The Yankees know they probably have that division, and if they play well, they'll keep that division. It's just they're just gonna have up and down games for the next little bit.
Yeah, it's been really frustrating as of late. I just so I have the Yankee game on in the back. We just finished. It's 7-1. Yanks won. Thank goodness. When Judge went to embrace 2 of the other players, like, he makes everybody look like children.
Yeah,
Dude is like an NFL. It's like Gronk in a Yankees jersey. It's kind of crazy, right?
Dude's like 6'6", 250. He's not like, he's
He's a
not a
monster.
small dude.
Dude is an absolute monster. All right, so number 3. Now, I think 3, 2, 1 is exactly in the order it should be. I don't, and I'd be surprised if this changed anytime soon. Like, I expect these teams to all be in first place for a while. Number 3, got the Philadelphia Phillies, right? They're at 47 wins. Philly had some struggles this season, but they seem to be figuring it out. I'd like to see, and I mean, right now they have a decent, right there, they have a decent lead on the division. They're playing good baseball. It's one of these teams where, oh, that's crazy. Sorry, I'm just looking at some stats here. I got a thing about Skeens popped up as I'm sitting here. Now, this team, right? So when we talk about the Philadelphia Phillies, right, they got a 1.5 game lead on the Mets. The Braves are still almost 10 games out. So they're not really a team to worry about. Phillies. I think the Phillies are playing the Astros tonight, actually. So that's probably an interesting game. But you got, so Schwarber's got 24 home runs on the season. Trey Turner's batting 300. And then you've got the regular guys. You got Bohm, you got Castellanos, Bryce Harper. Real Muto. So their lineup top to bottom is pretty strong. There's not really Kepler's not really hitting too much, but most of the rest of the team is looked pretty decent. You got at least, Bohm, Castellanos, Turner, they're all batting over 285. So, that's good to see for them for sure. Now, I think for me, the thing that I've noted most about this team and what's really stuck out, it's their starting pitchers. Chris Sanchez, Jesus Luzardo, Zach Wheeler, right? So remember what I was saying before about the Cubs, right? These guys, you got 6 and Ranger Suarez too, but you got 6 wins, 6 wins, 7 wins, 7 wins. Each guy's only got 2 losses, so when you got a guy who's putting up 7, 8, 9 wins this time of the season, you want to see 2 or less losses, and I think that that's really kind of held them together pretty well so far this season for sure. Number 2, you might want to talk about these guys because I'm not a huge fan. The Los Angeles Dodgers.
It's all about being a New York Nick hater. Jesus.
The guy's an everything hater. If I like them, of course. That's it. So what do you? Okay, here's a question for you, Cole. Now I know he hasn't had full game outings yet, but we have seen the return of Shohei Ohtani to the mound. What do you think? How's he looking so far?
I mean, not much more than you could expect from him. It's been so long since he's pitched, but that's what the guy became when he came in the league, was a dual threat. So this is what he's played his whole life to be.
So I guess here's the question: do you obviously they're in the process of ramping him up. Do you see him becoming a regular part of the rotation before the end of this season, or do you think that they wait until the playoffs?
I think it's maybe more playoffs, but they did say last year that they would bring him back, but I don't think they'd ever had intentions of bringing him back full time.
So the last full game, or not full game, but the last real outing he had where he wasn't just pitching 1 or 2 innings was August 23rd, 2023. So It would be nice to see him have a full outing, pitch 6, 7 innings by late August.
No, I know, but they did say last year that they're not going to push it. They're not going to make him do a full outing if he feels it. If the situation they need him to pitch, he will do it. He's a team player, but I don't think they intended him to come back full time. And that's why I said last year, I was like, when everybody talked about it, I was like, I feel like Shohei be a great reliever, great closer, because the guy can still pitch. But I never thought to see him ever really be a full-time pitcher. Only when he needed to be.
Okay, that's fair. So on the offensive side, they've got such a team, right? So, Shohei's got 27 homers already. He's got 90 hits on the season so far. Teoscar Hernandez already has 50 plus ribbies. The catcher, Will Smith's got, he's batting 330. And then, that's not to mention guys like Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman's batting over 300. Mookie Betts is a little down from Mookie. He's batting around at 250 right now. But, what was it, last night or 2 days ago? Max Muncy had a grand slam the other night. I'm like, gee, they're getting it from everybody. But
that's the things you talk about why everybody hates the Dodgers, because you got 10 guys in that roster that can hit all the same. You got 10 pitchers in that roster who all can pitch the same. They're so evened, like every which way. You're not worried about their starting rotation. They're worried about their entire bench because they got all stars upon all stars upon all stars on that team.
So so Yamamoto, right? He's got he's got 6 wins, right? But he's also got 6 losses.
Yeah.
Tanner Scott's looked great, with this. He's got 16 saves on the season. What's this guy's name? Ben Kasparius. He's 6-1, which is pretty impressive. But it's been another one of these things where it's kind of like piecemeal. Clayton Kershaw is 3-0 on the season. You got guys like Vesia. They have so many different people. Dude, it's hard to not think that they're going to make it all the way back again because, right? Last year they were hurt and they piecemealed it together like nothing, right? Now guys are healthy, and they've just got so much talent on defense, on offense, on the mound. Like, it's just, as a Yankees fan, it is frustrating.
Well, so they got, how you have like a rotation where it's like, here's your batting line versus right-handers, here's your batting versus left-handers, here's rotation for if they have this guy pitching, that guy pitching. These guys have an answer for everything.
And that's so like, as like just a fan of the sport of baseball, that's the one thing that makes it almost difficult to be frustrated because they're so good at game planning it, right? And like, I feel like they game planned it so well in putting this roster together that it's like, it's not even like a thought process at this point. Like, they see a team and they're like, all right, you already know what it is. Like, they're such a good team. Like, no other way to say it,
And the only other thing to say is like, look, like you guys you guys got Bellinger after he had a stint with LA. The other people have Patterson, like Jock Peterson and stuff like that. There's so many players that have came from LA, and they're like, okay, are they the same as when they were in LA? Depending on who they're around, they can be that caliber player. But a lot of these guys, when they leave LA, they're not the same player anymore because they're not around the same team. But they have this talent that works.
That's a fact. So let me ask you, right, before we get to the number one, because I think that the AL is a little more, I don't know, once we get to the playoffs, Astros, Yankees, Tigers, Cleveland, I think the AL could shake out different in the playoffs. In the playoffs right now, like, what do you think is the biggest threat to stopping the Dodgers from making it back to the World Series?
Just being smarter than them, basically. In different ways. It's like they got this guy pitching. They can't just see what people do is when it comes to the Dodgers, what I've noticed last year was people match up. Like, okay, say it's the Yankees versus Dodgers again. You have Shohei's gonna pitch. Well, they're gonna throw Max Fried up there. Like they're gonna put talent versus talent. But the way to beat them is offset it where you have Rondon playing against Shohei, and then the Yamamoto versus Max Fried. Like, it's just like you challenge them with who you throw on that mound. You don't match them, you challenge them. You get guys who, like, because I coached, it's like, okay, they have a really strong right hander. Well, where's my left handed bats? Like, who's the guys who can get on base? Like, who's the guys who can do this? Who's the guys who can do that? You got to be different. You got to be 3 steps ahead of the Dodgers because they have a roster that's 10 steps ahead of you in the long run. So you got to outmatch them in every which way to beat the best them.
It's the one thing, and in the playoffs and in the postseason, Fried is a very good pitcher, but like that, I was shell shocked when they ran through him so fast, and nobody's been hitting him all season. Like, I mean, right now, I expect him to take the Cy Young, and
Mhm.
and when he faced the Dodgers, he got cooked, and he got cooked quickly. You
Yeah.
know, 2 innings, and he was already basically done.
Yeah.
So, but it would be interesting if to see, like, okay, let's just say it is a rematch of last year. If Rodon can keep playing like he's been, keep pitching like he has, and if him and Fried both go into the postseason 20 wins plus, I got a lot of confidence. But
Yeah, you might have confidence in your players, but you got to be have confidence in your coach. Do not play the right player
listen,
because
any
you know how much you love Boone. We know how much
any
you love Boone.
Yankees fan out there that says they have confidence in the management and coaching style of Aaron Boone, go get a Mets hat, because you can't be a Yankees fan. That's the most ridiculous thing. Like, I feel like we can't win because of the guy.
Yeah,
There's no other way to say it. No other way
that's
to,
what I'm
like.
saying. If Boone made the right decisions like Dave Roberts does, then we would be talking totally different about Yankees winning last year and Roberts not winning.
Dude,
But
okay.
Roberts knows how to play the Yankees.
Okay,
He's
remember last year, okay, World Series, Freddie Freeman's on a heater. He's hit like 6 home runs in a row, and Nestor Cortez on the mound. Now, understandably, the bases are loaded.
Mhm.
So let's just pitch to the guy who's on a heater and hitting home runs every time he gets to bat. No, like, I'm sitting there going, and Mookie Betts is a great player, but Mookie wasn't having the postseason that Freeman was. I'm
No.
like, walk him, take the run, and pitch to Mookie. Instead, grand slam. And
Yeah,
I
I
was just
know, but you gotta understand on that level, you're a father, I'm a father. The We needed that. Not as in not against the Yankees, not against the Dodgers, not against anything. You had Freddie Freeman who played the game for his kid, and you just weren't gonna best him, no matter
like,
what you did.
exactly my point. And that's where the
But
bad coaching comes.
oh, I know that's the
You
bad
know you
coaching. But the thing is you didn't know it was going to be that. There was nobody could predicted to him have the shot he did. But what I'm saying for baseball in general, we needed that shot. Even if even if it won the game, doesn't mean he was going to win the series. But we needed that home run
It was like
for
this,
Freddie.
dagger to my heart.
No, I know. But for Freeman, and I'm speaking to you as a father, for Freddie Freeman, you needed that hit because it was for for his kid.
I
It
got
was
no
just
arguments with that.
it was
I got
just an
no arguments.
uplifting miracle of a shot that just it was a great moment for sports.
Yeah, okay. All right, listen, I'm not gonna argue. We lost. It happens. Thank God Cortez isn't on the team anymore. He threw that guy a meatball. Okay, so the number one for our power rankings this week, um, the only 50-win team in baseball,
Mhm.
unless the Dodgers win tonight. I don't know if they're playing tonight. I gotta look. But the Detroit Tigers, they have just been playing complete baseball all season, start to finish. Um, they're actually, like, I never thought I would say this. Like, it's been a long time since I've thought this, but they're a fun team to watch play baseball.
Mhm.
I enjoy watching
But
them.
I'm not surprised in a general sense. We could talk about the White Sox all day being horrible, but they have one of the best minor league systems, and Detroit basically had the better minor league system. When 2 years ago, I remember talking to different guys that were like, "Listen, don't count the Tigers out. In 2 to 3 years, the Tigers are going to be phenomenal because their minor league system is phenomenal and it's going to come up and they're going to be up and coming. And they're doing exactly on paper what experts have thought 2 years ago. They said this team is going to be amazing once they develop their players the right way, and they're doing it, and they're having, like you said, they're fun because they're having fun, they're enjoying it. Everybody, this, with outside of like the amount that the Dodgers played, the Tigers are the kind of team that are built to win because they've built the right system and it's
Yeah.
working.
I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that at all. Listen, so Scooble's being Scooble, doing Scooble things. He's 9-2, right? The guy is so good. ERA 2.29. Flaherty's taken some L. Flaherty's taken a lot of their L's. Mize is doing awesome. Mize is like 7-2 on the season. Really, what has stood out to me, because I read, so one of the guys for We Like Sports, one of our writers, was writing an article about Detroit last year, and they were highlighting players, and they highlighted Riley Green. And they were like, this guy could be phenomenal. Lo and behold, a year later, and this guy is phenomenal. He's he's batting 299, basically a 300 batter. He's got 61 RBIs, 91 hits on the season. He's got 17 homers. Spectacular, man. He's having a hell of a season. Torkelson could do some work. He could definitely get better. But, they got guys like Gleyber Torres is playing really good for them. Former Yankee. No surprise there to me, but a lot of Yankees fans were not huge Gleyber fans. But I think that this team is just like, they're very top to bottom complete, right? They're a whole total package. They have good defense. They have good hitting. They have good mound. Their ace is Scooble, right? Like, I mean, you don't get much better than the Cy Young winner from last season. I would expect to see this team, like, this is the team I think that, like, the Yankees will play in the ALCS. I think it'll be the Yankees against the Tigers. And, like, I am by no means excited about that. This is a really good team. I don't know, man. I mean, Scooble's doing good enough right now where he could swoop in the second half of the season and pull a back-to-back Cy Young. Like, it's hard. It's hard to argue with what they've built over there. A lot of Detroit guys are loving this season. All right, so moving along. AL and NL MVP favorites so far this season. We'll start with the AL. So my AL favorite, and the guy that I think resoundingly wins it, I don't care about what's going on in Seattle, is Aaron Judge. I mean, I think it's – so actually you sent me the numbers. Aaron Judge is minus 2,000 right now to win it, with the closest person being like plus 600 or something, and that being Cal Raleigh, right? I mean, the guys just had – Aaron's regular seasons have just become a thing of, like, over the last few years, they've just become so ridiculous. That's probably the only way I can say it, right?
They are ridiculous, but you want Aaron Judge to fucking put that in the playoffs. You put that in the play. You put regular season Aaron Judge in the playoffs. You got championships. It's no different than regular season Peyton Manning and playoff Peyton Manning. It's just,
listen. I fully agree with you. For me, it's one of these things where I don't need him to do it every year. It would be amazing if he did. But if he could just show up like this season in the playoffs, right? Just give us – it's been a while, bro. It's been – we're going on 16 years without a World Series ring, Yeah. And I'm spoiled, right? I was 12 years old in 1996. I've seen quite a few Yankees championships, 5 to be exact. And so for me, I would love to see us get back to that glory. I don't know what it takes for him to get to that place, but right now, I mean, he's ripping and running. Like, I mean, he's like, he's got 108 hits, right? Like 28 home runs. He's batting over 360. I mean, like just nasty, nasty numbers.
Oh, it's nasty numbers, but again, it's regular season. We need to see
Absolutely.
playoff Aaron. We need to see playoff
So
Aaron.
listen, I don't know what it's going to take for him to change. Aaron, if you ever see this, hopefully this is the year for you. We need a breakout playoff performance. My wife is laughing in the background. My goodness. My good. You know, honey, relax. But number two, I think this one's an obvious one, right? And I think he's a legit threat in the MVP race right now is Cal Raleigh.
Yeah.
32 home runs. I mean, he's got 4 more home runs than Aaron Judge. Like, he's on pace to hit 65 home runs this season.
Uh-huh.
Unbelievable. He's got 69 RBIs. Now, here I think is where it gets a little interesting. Let me see if I can get his numbers here. Here, you know what? Let me just click on the name. Let me do that. Hits. So he's blasting home runs, right? Which is, good for him. But okay, so on the season, let's see what we got here. Right now, he's got 81 hits. So Aaron Judge has 27 more hits than him. So as good a season as he's having, he could really be having way better season. I mean, his OPS is over 1. He's one of a few players in the league that has that right now. Maybe 3 or 4 players have that. I mean, the guy's having a hell of a season, right? This is definitely like his breakout year, and I think it's fantastic. I think he's already hit. Oh, no. So the most home runs he's hit in a season is 34. That was last season, okay? This is his 5th season in the league. He is about to demolish that. And I think that's it's awesome, definitely exciting for him. The number 3 guy, we haven't heard too much about this year. And I think that is mainly because his team, in my opinion, his team has underperformed. Bobby Witt Jr., right? So I think a lot of folks had a lot of high hopes for these guys this season. Kansas City's not even a 40-win team at this point. Right? So they're 11 and a half games out of first place. And they've got the Guardians. They're tied. First, they're tied with the Twins. And then they've got the Guardians and the Tigers to deal with. So there's a very good chance that Kansas City's not even going to go to the playoffs. Let's just call it what it is. Now, what do you think? What do you think about Bobby Witt this season?
Bobby Witt's going to be Bobby Witt, like, regardless. It's just, he's a phenomenal talent. He's one of the best 5-2 players in the game today. And it just shows. It just shows that, like, he could ultimately carry, maybe not this team, but he can definitely carry a team. Like, what would happen if Bobby Witt's contract ended? You know how many people are going to go after Bobby Witt and throw money at him? And I don't think it changes his game. I don't think he leaves, but to get that caliber of player on putting him on a team that is in contention is just dangerous to think about it.
Bobby's supposed to be a New York Yankee. I already see it in the future. I'm just letting you guys know if you don't know that already. Future pinstripe.
I'll be the New York hater. I think New York will ruin Bobby Witt Jr.
Why?
I just have a feeling. I just don't think New York is the market for Bobby Witt.
Okay. That's fair. I mean,
he's a Midwest guy kind of thing. He's a Midwest talent. He's a I'm not saying mid talent. He needs to be around guys that are going to supplement him better. Like, he needs an amazing second baseman with an amazing first baseman. I don't think the Yankees have that to work with Bobby Witt Jr. It's just I feel like the Yankees would just put too much talent around him and it just will affect his game. He needs people that are going to be equal to Bobby Witt Jr.'s level and play it like that. And this is where I say the 96 to 99 New York Yankees, everybody complimented everybody. But now the Yankees that we have now are just, they're not complimenting each other. You're just getting talent on talent on talent on talent. But Bobby Witt Jr. needs to be on a team where he's complimented by his third baseman and his second baseman and his first baseman and not overshadowed because it's all on Bobby Witt Jr. I think he needs to be around a team that's going to be, they're not just talking about first base or second base or shortstop. He needs to be surrounded by, and he's surrounded by it in Kansas City because he is the talent that's bringing everybody fans in the stands in KC more than
Well,
anybody else.
let me just give you some numbers, right? Last year, he hit 32 home runs. We're halfway through the season. He's only at 10. So he's fallen off on home runs. He hit 109 RBIs last season. He's only got 40 right now. So at midway through the season, he's at a drop off in RBIs. His batting average last season was 332. He's only batting at 280 this season. He's slumping, if you ask me.
He could be slumping, but also the talent in KC has faltered a little bit. So I think they were playing better last year than they are this year. So that's what's affecting him. And that's what I'm saying. It's because it's all on Bobby Witt Jr. to pull this team out of the dumpster fire it is right now. So he needs to go somewhere else that he's not going to be that player. That they're not just going to put it all on Bobby Witt.
Like he had no hits yesterday. He did have a strikeout, but he's his whole season, like he hasn't had any, like, he's had maybe 1, 3, 4 hit game. All his games are like one hit, maybe two hits. He's got a lot of stretches where he's got no hits. I feel like, as much as it's the team, I feel like he's having issues himself this season. I don't think when we get to MVP voting, I don't think he's going to finish in the top 5.
Uh-huh.
Just
No,
my opinion.
if he doesn't get those home runs up, the RBIs up, the hits up, he's not going to be a top 5 for sure.
Like right
But
now,
defensively, he's still amazing.
listen. I'm not arguing that, but right now, I would say, like, if it wasn't Aaron Judge, right now, the person I think looks like an MVP candidate in the AL is Riley Green. I think that guy is just playing awesome baseball. All right, so let's move along to the National League here. Now, the National League is, especially if this man is pitching. What are the odds? Like, if Shohei starts winning games on the mound,
Yeah,
then he's running away with the the NL MVP again.
well, that's the
Right
thing.
now, he's still minus 500 to win it.
Yes, but this is no different than Aaron Judge. This is Shohei's to lose.
Yeah, I think legitimately, like, if I had a crystal ball, I think that we're going to see the Yankees against the Dodgers again this year. I think that it's going to be Shohei MVP, Judge MVP. I think Max Fried's going to win the Cy Young. I'm not too. I don't know. Who do you think? If you had to pick the NL Cy Young today, who would you pick?
That I couldn't tell you. I have not looked at anybody's pitching to give you a true answer for that one.
I mean, there's some really good. I mean, obviously you got Skeens over there, but he's in a tough position because he's on the Pirates. I hope the Pirates never trade him, but Zach Wheeler's having a hell of a season this season as well. So I don't know. We'll kind of see where that goes.
But Shohei is Shohei. I know we all hate using the word generational talent, but this kid is just he is a generational talent because who can you say can do what Shohei can do year after year, injury after injury, you know, and stuff like that. Like,
In 50 years, young baseball fans and older ones will be talking just like we talk about the greats.
yeah,
Like, they're going to talk about Shohei Ohtani.
yeah.
He's the guy who could legitimately be the greatest baseball player ever one day. He's not yet, but he could be one day.
The fact is, I don't know if you've ever seen it, and it's a great thing to watch. Did you ever watch the series they did on Shohei about him coming up in the league and like they did a movie about him?
I definitely did. I'm
Okay,
sorry, I'm such a
okay,
hater, but no, I
okay.
did not ever watch the show. Like I I I don't if he was a Yankee, I would like him, but I
Yes,
don't like him at all.
no, but this kid, as because he is younger than us, he manifested his entire career since he was a child in every aspect. He knew he was going to be a major league baseball player. He knew he was going to dominate as a player. He knew he was going to dominate as a pitcher. He knew he was going to win a World Series. He has this thing that he wrote out when he was a child, and it tracks. He, like, when you speaking into existence, this is one person that is well known that he spoke this into existence 20 years ago, and it's coming true in every which way.
Well, I mean, he puts the work in, right? I mean, it's
But to
hard
see,
to, like how do
no,
you argue with the guy with the body at work like that? I mean, this is all he's done his whole life and all he's focused on.
but have you ever heard of anybody that committed to that skill
I mean,
from a
uh,
young age, from that young of an age to make it so?
I would imagine that there's actually a lot of American baseball players and Dominican, amongst others, who have been playing. Like, I mean, there are a lot of Dominican kids that, as soon as they can pick up a ball, that's all they're doing.
Yes.
So,
Now, to make it to the majors, yes. But what I'm saying is, like, what I'm trying to say is, he in the documentary, they weren't trying to boast him at all. And he's like, look, here you go. Here's a piece of paper. And it's in his language. And he's like, everything that he has done, he has written down 20 years ago. The, you can all imagine that. Like they talk about that in hockey. They talk about in basketball. Oh, I've always wanted to be playing a game 7. That's me in the backyard shooting the ball or hitting the home run to walk off. Like kids all imagine that. We get that, but they think about that here or there. But this kid has his work ethic is so amazing. It's it's transcending the game of baseball. Kids now want to be a two-way player. Kids are modeling themselves after him, no matter where they're from in the world. That race is not a thing with this guy. It's he's changing the game for the better. And it's all because of how humble he is. There's no ego. There's no ego with him. It's not about him. It's about the game and how he's changing it. And he's done this his whole life. Some
and so,
play,
like, not to go too far down that rabbit hole, but it's cultural. It's because
yeah,
it's because he's Japanese.
yeah.
He comes from a society and a culture of humble people. You know what I mean? So, like, what you're saying tracks.
But
I
to
get it.
stay,
You know what I
but to
mean? And
stay
at
true
some
to
point,
it
I'll
though.
watch it.
But to stay true to it, you see so many players that come up and they get talked about, and their ego gets the best of them. The talent
Yeah.
gets the best of them. The rings get the best of them. And regardless, there's been other Yankees that have played like that came from the same culture, the same humbleness, but they are not that player. They are not that caliber of a player. It's just hard to compare him to anybody because no, we haven't seen this before.
Well, so okay, technically, yes, we have. His name was Babe Ruth. Okay, so let's stop that. Yes, we have. He was an American guy named George Herman Ruth, and he dominated the sport at every level possible. So we have seen it before. But in the modern era, you are 100% right. 100% right.
Yes.
In the
But
modern
also
era
Babe
of
Ruth was using
baseball,
a 50-ounce bat. You could hit moonshots with a 50-ounce bat if you tried to.
listen, in the modern era of baseball, Shohei Ohtani is one of one. There's no argument about that.
Yeah.
He is the biggest superstar in the sport. Aaron Judge might be one of the bigger superstars in like America, but
Yeah.
like on a global sense, in
Yeah.
all of sports, Shohei Ohtani is one of the biggest superstars in all of sports.
Yeah.
So there's really, I would be. I was actually shocked to see that Judge's odds were minus 2,000 and Shohei's were minus 500. I thought Shohei's would be bigger, but he's only just turning the lights on, right? We're halfway through the season and the guy's just getting better. So,
Now, if I could sway you in any which way, I will do it like this. Watch the Shohei thing and give me your opinion. And I will tell you right now, it has nothing to do with the Dodgers
it has to
at
do with
all.
Shohei Ohtani. It's about him.
Yeah, but
He's only been a Dodger for how long? You know what I mean?
No, I know, but there's nothing about him being a Dodger. This is all about him and the Angels and him growing up. It has nothing to do with the Dodgers.
Listen, just so we're on the same page, I don't even like. I'm upset that we lost to the Dodgers last year, but like beyond that, I don't care about the Dodgers organization at all. Like they've never been like an organization where I'm like, oh my God, I'm so like they're the Dodgers, and like they're playing awesome now. It's what frustrates me about the team, and it's not them. It's that other teams are not some of them are starting to, but like the Yankees, we could be doing the exact same thing.
Yes.
We're not though, and
I am just asking as a fan to watch it.
What is it on? What platform is this on?
I'll figure it out and I'll send it to you. I'll just have to Google it and I'll send it to you. I think I watched it on Disney. I think I watched it on Disney, but I'm not sure.
Disney.
But I think I watched it on Disney. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure, and I don't want to go out of my screen to find it real quick to tell you. But I will find it afterwards, and I'll send it to you. But it's an amazing documentary because it's all about him. It's really all about him before it shows him as the Angel, but it's all about him before he ever hit the major leagues. It's all about his upbringing and the way he talks, the way he wanted to change the game. And then you know him now and you look at that and you go, wow, like he never changed who he was. He never let it become a thing to him, no matter how big he was in Japan, no matter how big he's became a global talent, no matter how big of a player people admired him. It just never changed him. It gives you a different perspective of him in a humble opinion, in a humble way that was just as a global talent.
Cool. All right, I'll check it out. It's a sport. It's sports, so like, of course, I'm gonna watch it and enjoy it. No question about it. Maybe I'll like him a little bit more after that. I just, you know what? I'm one of those guys. I just don't jump on the hype train. I'm like, oh yeah, he's great. Whatever.
And the thing was, I never jumped on his hype train. I just said, oh my God, he's an amazing talent. But like I said, I watched this documentary. As I've played ball my whole life, baseball has been my major sport in my entire life. And just as a baseball player, it made me respect who he was and what he's doing for the game.
As a baseball fan, I will say one thing. I was very happy for him when I found out that he was moving to the Dodgers from the Angels, because I was like, there's no way, like the Angels can't keep getting these amazing talents and just washing them down the drain. Like, what are we doing? Like Trout, the perennial Angel, so I was happy for him as a fan of the sport when he made it to the Dodgers. And, it was cool to see everything kind of culminate with that World Series win last year. And it'll be interesting to see this year and next, if in the next few years they can become a dynasty, Listen, I'm okay with them winning three championships or 2 more championships in the next 4 seasons, as long as my Yankees get one of the other ones in between. You know, I don't expect I don't need everybody to win every year. I just want to see my team win sometimes. That's all. So I'm okay with that. So listen, guys, it's almost that time of night. Couple of things real quick before we leave. I don't know if my guy Hot Take is still listening, but if he isn't, I'm just going to plug him and make him do it. So in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be planning on doing a show centered on fantasy football. It'll be like a, Vinny's Corner sports podium kind of thing where we get Austin involved, Hot Take involved. We get all the guys involved, and we're going to talk fantasy football, pre-drafts, what people's rosters are looking like. Hopefully folks will have some questions for us. But NFL season is almost back, so it's time to start talking about it. And then the last thing for me, at least, as I was talking about, and if you guys want any more information, a lot of fights going on this weekend. America's own Deontay Wilder is back Friday night. The Bronze Bomber, as he is known as, big-time knockout artist, fighting in Wichita, Kansas, and I expect a highlight reel KO on Friday night. I'll shoot out some info on the socials with times and everything so folks know what time. Your favorite combat sport enthusiast, Jake Paul, is fighting this weekend, and he's fighting a Chavez. So that could be interesting. And, of course, UFC has a huge card on, and maybe the baddest man on the planet right now, Ilia Topuria, is fighting. And he's he's not just a savage, but he's fighting the savage, Charles Oliveira. So it's going to be like somebody's going out. Like there's no chance that fight goes the distance. Somebody's getting put out. So that's all I got this week on Vinny's Corner. Kale, as we're now calling my boy here, do you got anything you want to add in before we head out?
Well, we got the new remake of everything, 8 years of being Cove, and trying to put out my own content under my own name because Kale is part of my name. So like trying to do that. So we're looking to do a show tomorrow night. No one's really said they're up for it, but we're going to hope that people are. If not, I might try to start doing my own thing, running my own show solo, because I've missed out so much opportunity of growth because I'm waiting for people. So I'm thinking like try to do a solo if I can. I know your schedule doesn't align with me sometimes. I know you'll come over when you can, but I'm just gonna try to brand myself in my own way without. It's not that I don't like the talent who I've had with Thomas and Travis and you and other guys I've associated with, but I'm trying to branch myself out myself too.
So, to summarize what Kale just said, he is looking to rebrand, as you can see, with the 6th Street Studio, and he's going to have a new podcast potentially coming out solo. We just got to get you confirmed on like a solid day, and then I'll start to try and work some dates into my schedule from there. Once you have it figured out, you know what I mean? So I can pop in. And we take it from there.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, to answer Hot Take's question, my bald head is better. Always has been, always will be. All right, folks. I appreciate it as always. Thank you for everybody who tuned in tonight and shouted us out here at Vinny's Corner. And of course, we will see you back next week. And I might go live just for like a quick few minutes on Friday night because the fights are going on. So I'll let you guys know on Friday. Everybody, take care. Much love.